going to ask the town clerk to please take a roll call.
David Becker. Michael Hurley. Gaylord Meyer. Eric Sundman. Peter Ambrose. Amy Jennings. John Matola. Jeff Steele.
Here.
Keith Varian. Ed Bateson. Tom Conley. Hank Ferentz. Dave McKenzie. Mary McCullough. Heather Dean. Joe DiMartino. Art Hogg. Amy Mezoff. Joe Palmer. Ed Ambrose.
What do you want me to do? Is it this mic or this mic?
Josh Garaskoff. Chris McAleese. Ruth Smay. Ann Stamler. Chris Brogan. Laura Campbell. Sheila Marmion. Jay Walk. Jen Hochberg. Kevin Hopkins. Eric Newman. Mark Patton. Hal Schwartz. Kathy Braun. Dana Carey. Alan Marks. Tom McCarthy. Jeff Stopa. Bill D'Amica. Joe Fellner. Ellen Jacob. Nick Maraboli. Carol Pontrelli. Chuck Abercrombie. Lee Hannum. Ken Lee. Bruce Ryan. Carol Way.
Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't know if I really coming clear. Okay, great. As you know, each month I try to recognize certain town employees or members of the public for their accomplishments or achievements in their career or in pursuits of sports, music, academics, or the community. And they are especially significant when they are achieved at the highest level. Today we have the Fairfield Pop Warner Pee Wee cheerleaders who competed in and won 5th place in the Pee Wee Level 1 division of the National Championships in Orlando, Florida in December. If I could have the group just come up. If you could just come up and line up against the wall. I would actually ask you to do a routine. It's not a bad idea, but I don't know if there's enough room here. But if you want to give it a try, you can. The girls ages 9 to 12 are the second team in the 46-year history of the Fairfield Giants to compete for a national title. That's pretty impressive. They won the Southern Connecticut, State, and New England Pop Warner titles to earn a trip to the national contest. They put Fairfield on the map yet again as representatives of another high-achieving athletic team from Fairfield, and we should be very proud of them, especially when they achieve something at that level. These members are, and raise your hand when I call your name, and hopefully I will say it correctly. If I don't, I apologize. Samantha Epperson, Hannah Landesberg, Cassie Llewellyn, Joanna Moongem, Michaela Murdoch, Gianna Pulito, Haley Seppo, Seapot, I'm sorry. I should have got these all correct, shouldn't I have? That was my job. Is Juliana here? Did she make it? Okay. Jillian Heatherman, Teddy Tarzali, and then the coaches, Nancy Polito and Lori Moongem. Congratulations. Please, at this point, we are going to. I'd like to ask the cheerleaders to join me in leading the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. So here we go. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could all please just stay standing for a moment of silence, and also please keep in your thoughts Representative Lee, who lost his mother, Mary Quinn Lee, who passed away on January 11th, at the age of 92, and also Kristen McCarthy Vahey's grandmother, who passed away last week, who was 89. Thank you. You can all remain seated. Congratulations again to the Pop Warner team. Thank you for representing the team, the league, the town, and the state so impressively. Thank you very much for coming. And congratulations. Before we move on, I am going to take 45 seconds for my own moment of personal privilege, some of which you know about. I realize there is a Board of Education meeting tomorrow night at 7:30, which many of you may attend. I've confirmed that the discussion of the budget may not start till 8:30 or so, and the reason I'm mentioning this is I'd like to remind everyone about an event at the Fairfield Library tomorrow at 7 p.m., which could be a nice warm-up to the Board of Ed meeting. Robert Steele, my father, who was a former congressman from the 2nd District of Connecticut, will be doing a Meet the Author event on his newly published book called The Curse. And it is a novel that focuses on a very important, relevant, and contentious issue in our state, which is the expansion of gambling in Connecticut, specifically on Indian reservations, which Connecticut has been confronting on a scale unlike any other state in the country. And in fact, Fairfield County faced the very same possibility a number of years ago when there was serious talk of a new Indian casino in Bridgeport. So he will present tomorrow at 7 o'clock at the library, questions and answers to follow in discussion at 7:30. So if you find some time in your evening, would be very much appreciated, but I wanted to mention that. Moving on, the agenda that you all got has 2 number 3s on it, and just to throw a whole wrench in the schedule tonight, I'm going to be referring to items possibly differently, but you'll catch on very quickly. We are now going to move on to item number 2, which is to hear an address on the state of the town by the first selectman, Mr. Tetreault.
Good evening, Mr. Moderator, RTM members, elected officials, and members of the public. Thank you for the opportunity to give an update on our town. I'd like to publicly thank my colleagues on the Board of Selectmen, Kristen McCarthy Vahey, Kevin Kiley, for their leadership and their dedication to our town. Wow, really didn't think I'd be standing up here tonight talking to you about another major storm that hit our town. Sandy hit us much worse than Irene, and as you know, knocked out our power to over 22,000 homes and over 98% of our town. I want to say thank you to everyone who helped. It was a real team effort by all town departments: police, fire, ECC, health, DPW, Board of Education, building, the library, finance, Parks and Rec, human resources, and social services. Hold that mic, Betsy. Our CERT team of volunteers played a big role in managing our emergency shelter, home to almost 300 residents. Fairfield University and Sacred Heart University were both integral parts of our emergency plans. The tax collector's department overcame adversity to service our residents, and the same can be said for our registrar of voters, who had plans B, C, and D to make sure everyone had a chance to cast their ballot. A special thanks to all the businesses that donated services and to our new friends in the National Guard. Thank you to the residents that listened to our warnings to stay off the roads and to evacuate the beach area. Their actions and cooperation definitely saved lives. How do you even begin to describe the generosity of the 1,000 volunteers that Sunday on Jennings Beach who came together on short notice to help out their neighbors. That really makes Fairfield a special town and a special group of people. It's not over yet. We've conducted a complete review of our response to look for ways we can improve. I've asked department heads to reach out to other towns to see what we can learn and what we can do better. We're still compiling the costs and documentation to make sure that we get our full FEMA cost reimbursement. We are reviewing the impact of the flooding, what worked, what didn't, and identifying the improvements we need to make to minimize future flooding. I'm going to be working with other First Selectmen and our state delegation to get commitments from UI to address their lack of planning and failings in their response.
Every time I get up, it stops.
Stand right there. Importantly, we're also concerned about how many of our residents are not yet back in their homes. It will take many months for some of our neighbors. This mic. This better? We are concerned about many of our residents that are not yet back in their homes. It will take many months for our neighbors to recover from this devastation. When looking at our school system, our town is best known for our top quality education. We have made education a priority, with 55 to 60% of our annual budget going to the Board of Education. We've invested heavily in new and improved school facilities. Our school system has been a cornerstone in supporting the premium values that Fairfield homes obtain by attracting buyers to our town. We have new challenges going forward to keep our schools safe and secure. The Newtown strategy has given us pause and made us rethink the definition of security. We owe our educators, our staff, our students a safe environment to work and learn. I want to commend our police chief, fire chief, and our superintendent for moving quickly on this initiative. I want to also thank our police officers and the ECC dispatchers that not only went up the day of the tragedy to support the Newtown emergency services, but also went up over the holidays to make sure that those people had a break from the stress they were under. Over the coming months, we have to develop a comprehensive plan for the following: enhancements to our physical security and safety in our schools, additional training for our students, our staff, and our educators, and costs associated with starting these improvements will be included in the town side of the budget. We also need to reflect on what changes we want in our laws. What type of guns do we allow? What types of ammunition and magazines do we allow? What type of background checks and reporting do we require when purchasing guns and ammunition? How do we provide for changes in mental health evaluation and data sharing? These questions go to the heart of what we have long held as our rights and our concern for personal privacy. In some respects, in the months ahead, we are redefining our society, our country. This is a critical time, and everyone needs to be involved in these discussions. Fairfielders have taken the lead in shaping our nation since colonial times. We need to continue to be on the forefront of making progress. We all need to take a stand in the coming debates. While these issues will be decided at the state and federal levels, Fairfield has been a town of activists, volunteers, and contributors since our birth 374 years ago. We are now faced with another call to action. We need to get educated, get informed, and get involved. This is the time when our nation needs us. On another front, looking at energy, conservation, and sustainability, our town has been a leader in this area. We were recognized for the second year in a row with our Green Coast Award for our efforts. This past year, we installed over 200 LED lights at the downtown and Southport train stations and along the Post Road. We installed lighting controls and LEDs in the main library. We improved electric controls in Independence Hall with an estimated annual savings of $75,000. We installed an energy-saving tri-generation facility at the police station with an estimated savings of $50,000 per year. We lowered the energy costs by targeted purchases that saved $500,000 in 2012 versus our costs in 2011. We need to give a special thank you to Twig Holland, our Director of Purchasing, for her help in that regard. We installed diesel emissions filters in our older DPW vehicles with a $33,000 grant from EPA. These emissions from older diesel engines have been identified as a contributor to the rise in asthma and other respiratory diseases. We participated in the Solarize Fairfield initiative, promoting the implementation and use of photovoltaic systems. As a result, we now have 38 new PV systems providing clean, renewable energy in Fairfield homes. And for next year, there's more to come. We're planning improvements to our water pollution control facility with variable speed blowers and LED lighting and new control systems with a planned savings of $55,000 a year. We're planning installation of a cogenerator at the water pollution control facility for electricity and heat that will lead to a savings of over $160,000 per year. And we're planning projects at Independence Hall and the town garage to generate additional savings. Annual savings means a lot. That's money we save every single year from that point on. And we owe a special thank you to Ed Bowman in our DPW department for really taking the lead on these efforts as he has this year and for past years. We're looking at improvements for our seniors. One of our objectives is to make our town more senior friendly. Towards that end, we've added a new 14-passenger bus at the senior center, fueled by compressed natural gas, contributing to a cleaner environment and funded by state grants. This will help us provide transportation services for those in need. We completed a survey of our seniors, funded by a private donation, to identify what services and programs should be provided at our senior center. The top 10 task force reported on their recommendations based on visits to neighboring senior centers. This is an excellent example of shared best practices. If you've read this report, you'll be inspired with the quality of the work this group of volunteers produced. This is all about improving the services to our seniors. The RTM has on its agenda an improved and expanded senior tax relief program. My compliments to the committee and to this body for taking such a comprehensive look at what our town needs to provide to help our seniors stay in Fairfield. This tax relief is a major component of keeping Fairfield affordable for our seniors. With respect to our financial standing, we've made significant improvements in our financial foundation. Moody's rating agency recognized these actions by removing the negative outlook on our AAA rating. We now have the highest rating from all three credit agencies. The market recognized our efforts by giving us historic low rates on our bond offering and saving us significant dollars on interest payments. We made significant progress on shoring up our town financial reserves in our unassigned fund balance and in our internal service fund. We are making solid progress towards getting our reserves back to the level of other AAA towns. We identified key drivers for our tax increases. These represent the multi-year commitments that drive our tax increases. We are faced with many of these same drivers again this year. With our continued focus and management on these expenses, they will have a less of an impact after this year. This is the beginning of getting our year-to-year tax growth under control. We are working hard to manage the growth in our medical insurance and health care costs with increased employee participation and looking at alternative providers. We're working to manage our retiree benefits by offering both 401k type options for new employees and increasing the cost sharing in retiree health care. We also have major education and training initiatives to improve the safety in our workplace and control our workers' compensation expense. This is all about keeping our people from getting hurt. We benefited from some steep grants. While we do expect to receive less state aid in the future, we do want to give our thanks to our state delegation for their support in this year's funding. Here are two of the projects. We've added canopies on the steps to the downtown railroad station, making the stairways safer in all types of weather to our daily commuters and all other passengers. Special thanks to Tom Bremer, former Chief of Staff, for championing this cause and getting this through. We will also be adding improved access meeting ADA requirements at Jennings Beach, the marina, and other areas along our shores to make these amenities available to all of our residents. In the area of parks and recreation, our parks and rec facilities provide an extensive array of opportunities for our residents. Our youth sports programs are establishing a reputation for being some of the best in the country. Our American Little League team again competed for a national title. As we just saw, one of our Pop Warner cheerleading squads also competed for a national championship. We've had several teams in baseball, softball, and football win their league and state titles. Thank you to all the parents, coaches, and volunteers that make these programs special. In the area of arts and culture, we want Fairfield to continue to be a destination for shopping, dining, and entertainment. We've established a Fairfield Arts Advisory Committee, chaired by Sherry Stenick and Alan Nair, to provide guidance and recommendations on how to continue to promote the arts throughout Fairfield. We are continuing our efforts to find a tenant for the community theater and bring this landmark back to life. Very special place for me. That's where I had my first date ever in town. I can't think of a better initiative for getting us all on the same page than the One Book, One Town program sponsored by the Fairfield Library. This program is all about generating a common experience and conversation for everyone in town. This is about bringing us together. I encourage everyone to take part in the project and to read the book called Wonder. We held our first townwide restaurant week. 34 restaurants participated with special prices and special meals. Our passport feature led to special prizes for diners. The feedback has been extremely positive from restaurant owners and patrons alike. The number one comment, how soon can we do it again? Connecticut Magazine has just recognized 6 of our restaurants as being among the best in the state. I want to give special thanks to Mark Barnhart and to Jennifer Carpenter for making this such a success. Restaurant Week was the first step in the path to planning our town's 375th birthday celebration in 2014. It's coming fast. There is much to do, and we are looking for volunteers to help with the planning. If you're interested, if you want to plan a good party, please contact my office. We'd sure appreciate your help. In the area of communication, communication is certainly one of our key challenges. Our goal is to have more people involved and, importantly, more people informed. We'll be updating our town website this summer. It will have a much improved format and will be easier to use. We have several new and innovative features planned. These features make for improved service level reporting and feedback to our residents. Our Facebook page has become a vital source of information for our town. We saw this during Storm Sandy, with the Facebook pages from the town, police, and fire being active sources of information both out to our residents and hearing questions and concerns back from our residents. It created a great way for two-way feedback. Fair TV has grown and expanded with the town financial support. It now offers live telecasts on many of our board and commission meetings. The video on demand continues to allow those that missed a meeting to view it at their convenience. I want to thank those members of the RTM and its leadership that have reached out in a spirit of renewed cooperation. I know I can do better, and I know together we can and will do better. Our town needs us to work together to solve the challenges ahead. In closing, from Storm Sandy, we've learned many lessons from Irene. We'll also learn from Sandy. We'll continue to improve our response to future storms and mitigate the effects of flooding. On school security, we will have safe and secure schools. We do need everyone to take part in setting the direction for our nation with the ongoing discussion. On energy conservation, we will continue to take the lead in energy conservation and in lowering our costs and our usage. On seniors, we will continue to take the lead in improving the services we offer our seniors and improving affordability for living in Fairfield. On state grants, we'll continue to use the grants and the aid we get and invest wisely in our town. In Parks and Rec, we'll continue to offer programs for residents of all ages to maximize their enjoyment in our town. In Arts and Culture, we'll work towards keeping Fairfield the place to come for shopping, dining, and entertainment while we plan that great celebration for our 375th. On communication, we'll work towards keeping Fairfield, we'll work on improved use of technology and our website to improve residents with more responsive and easy-to-use tools for improving our service levels. And finally, on financial stability, we are working to get our taxes under control and manage our investments. This is and will be a major focus of this administration. As First Selectman, it is my vision to serve all the people of our town, from the students who need a safe environment for an excellent education, to the seniors on fixed incomes who wish to stay here, to the taxpayers who want quality service and reasonable taxes. We need to work together to find the most balanced approach to these sometimes conflicting needs. I want to thank all of our department managers and their teams for their dedication and commitment to our town. And I want to thank everyone for your involvement, your volunteer spirit, and your support for our town. Thank you.
We're going to try this mic again. Please just give me one moment. Thank you, First Selectman Tetra, for the state of the town. The next item is number 3, which is an election. So much for that. I could swap them, actually. That's even better. So we're going to have to do everything from up here now. All right. Next item is number 3, an election of representative in District 1 to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Carolyn Richmond. So at this point, I'm going to open up to the floor nominations for the District 1 RTM position. I don't need to go into the history of how we got here, but we are here now, and Representative Meyer.
Gaylord Meyer, District 1. It is with great honor that I would like to nominate Jay Lip. Sorry, can you not hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It is with great honor that I would like to nominate Jay Lip. Jay Lip is from District 1, and for those who are not familiar with him, he has lived here for over 23 years. Jay is currently a teacher at Norwalk High School, where he runs the science department and he's chairman. Jay's education is quite extensive. He has a BE in engineering, which at the State University and Maritime College. He has an MA at the National Security and the Strategic Studies, the United States Naval Academy. He's certified in 7-12 physics teacher. And he also has an alternate route in certification in the Connecticut Department of Higher Education in Hartford, Connecticut. He also has a 6-year administrative program at the University of Connecticut, and he is currently getting his doctorate at the Fordham University. So he is highly educated and will be very helpful. In some of his employment, he has also been the sailing director for the Fairfield Rec Department in Fairfield.
I think we're just going to resume everything over here.
Over there.
Yep.
Okay. I'll go over there.
Go over there. Batteries are dead.
Yeah, just come over here.
Thank you. And just briefly, that he also was the lead physics teacher at Stratford High School in Stratford, Connecticut. And he also was the functional integration manager for the Submarine Learning Center at the United States Navy. He also was the executive officer on the USS La Jolla, and he was in second command of the nuclear-powered submarines. And it was with great pleasure that I think he would be an incredible asset to the whole full RTM as well as to District 1. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ask for a second on that nomination. Representative Sundman? Okay. Are there any other nominations for District 1? Representative Hopkins? That's right.
Kevin Hopkins, District 7. I rise to nominate Doreen Heron to be the person who fills this slot on the RTM. Doreen should be someone who is known to most of you. You've probably seen her at many of our meetings, at Board of Ed meetings and other meetings. She has shown a commitment to helping our town to become the excellent town that it is, and I'm sure that as a member of the RTM, she would continue to help us all do that. So I hope you all support her nomination. Thank you.
Is there a second? Representative Dean? Are there any other nominations from the floor for this position in District 1? Okay. We have to have discussion, but it will be timed in brief. Are there any members who wish to discuss? And I'm going to make this a minute. So if any members want to discuss, please come up. Okay. Are there any members of the public? Representative Sundman.
Yes, hi, good evening. Eric Sundman, RTM District 1. I would just like to let everyone know that how I feel about Mr. Jay Lip, and that he is a very smart man who he is one of these people that you only hope would run for office in this town among us. He exemplifies a great amount of intelligence, experience, not just in education, but he's a man that once you know him, his admiration is earned. He's just somebody that is an excellent resource, and I'm just asking for your support. He's ready, willing, and able to jump in, and I have complete faith that he will serve RTM District 1 very well. Thank you. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Representative Carey?
Dana Carey, District 8. I support Doreen Herron for this vacancy wholeheartedly. Doreen has gone to hundreds of meetings. She is well versed in our daily, she is well versed in the operations of the RTM. She is familiar with the Board of Ed. She knows the budgets. She will be able to jump in and participate at a level as if she has been part of our body from last November. I wholeheartedly support Doreen.
Any other members? Representative Patton?
I'd like to echo Representative Carey's comments. I've known Doreen for a while, and she's been a PTA president. She's been a leader in the community, and as several of you have said, she is at pretty much every meeting imaginable in this town that has to do with making important decisions. The important thing with Doreen that, we've had issues with this body before. She shows up. She shows up with her homework done. She understands what's going on. And as Representative Carey said, she understands what's going on. She literally can jump right in. She attended both RTM committee night meetings this month. She didn't have to go to both of them. She could have just gone to one or neither. But that's how committed she is, and I fully support her.
Any other members? Yes, Representative Jacob.
Okay. Ellen Jacob, District 9. If we are really serious about controlling our taxes and our debt and having an even-handed approach in the shared sacrifice that is going to be necessary to do that, we have some hard choices ahead. We need a candidate who doesn't just have one point of view or two, but multiple points of view. We need somebody who is a union employee, who's an administrator, who's an engineer, who has people, who has worked for people and as the employer of others. We need somebody who is a parent and also has children in the school system. I think that Jay is really the only candidate he's a dream candidate. He's the only one who can look with circumspection at all the people we have to take care of. So I hope that you'll join me. Good night.
You don't want that horrible sound to come up, so. Any other members? Representative Lee.
Yeah, Representative Lee, District 10. Since Doreen's only in District 1 by about 100 yards, I had to speak up. And also since she's the one that got me into this mess in the first place by dragging me all those meetings, and more or less was my mentor, and she knows where I live, I thought it would be in my best interest to get up and support her. Now the humor part is over and the factual part begins. She just knows what's going on. And, I think it's important that we have people who are well-educated and have a background in the town, which is not to say that Mr. Lipp does not, but I have no evidence one way or the other. But I've seen Doreen at every meeting I've been at. And I know her to be a woman of integrity and a person of open-mindedness, and I think those are the attributes that we're really looking for. So, thank you.
Any other members? Representative Dean.
Heather Dean, Representative District 4. I'll be supporting Doreen as well. We met a couple of years ago. She has been consistently emailing me over the years with regards to the budget process and about being responsible, about making wise cuts. And I feel that she is involved, she's connected, she understands the issues at stake, and that she wants to have a good government. I think that she would be an excellent addition to ours. Thank you.
Anybody else? Representative Braun?
Kathy Braun, District 8. I'll be supporting Mr. Lip. I believe he has a very unique set of experience, education, and skills that really can't be beat of the two candidates. Being a 14 or 15-year veteran of the Navy, commanding nuclear submarines, managing diverse numbers of people and budgets, as well as being actively involved in teaching at the Naval War College and creating curriculum, he has a background that's very broad, even in the military. But when he left the military, he came and started teaching. So he taught at Stratford High School for a number of years, and now he's at Norwalk High School, and he's in charge of the science department. He also runs our sailing program here. He's a person who I think can see all sides of the issue, and District 1 has a big problem. District 1 needs someone who can make decisions, who can bring a fresh perspective, who can really analyze and figure out how we can have savings and reduce our taxes or not increase them as much without cutting programs. He's running a program in our town. I probably don't need the mic. Am I done? Oh, I didn't realize.
That was your beat.
I wasn't listening to the rules, I guess. So I ask you all to support Mr. Lip. Thank you.
We have to go to the public. Any other members? All right. Does anyone from the public want to address this? 1 minute max. Please come up to the microphone and just state your name. Jerry, on the rug, I assume? Is there a rug over here? Okay. Oh, actually, forget the rug. You're doing it here. I forgot.
Okay.
No, just come over here. Thank you. Thank you.
My name's Steve Baker. I'm from 22 Charles Street in District 1. I also serve as the PTA president of Roger Sherman School. I know Doreen is a fellow PTA member and board member at Roger Sherman. Doreen preceded me as president of the PTA by 2 years and continues on our board as Board of Education representative. As PTA president, Doreen was responsible for updating and revising our bylaws and also developed an in-depth month-to-month checklist for all preceding presidents that's invaluable to help keep on top of all the committees and deadlines. Her pragmatic style and vision has left a legacy of guidelines that has produced a conflict-free environment that is the envy of most PTAs in town, and that's no easy feat. It is this vision that has earned her the trust of those who are our neighbors, friends, colleagues, and those who have the pleasure of volunteering in town or on a committee with her. It is the trust that comes from knowing Doreen works without judgment or an agenda. It is in this trust that so many of our district count on her to be their eyes and ears at town meetings when we fall short of our civic responsibilities. So I know Doreen will do a great job, and I hope you vote for her. Thank you.
I'm going to try to not use that obnoxious beeping, but it certainly does the job. I will try to stop it before it starts beeping. Any other members of the public? All right, we come back to the body. I haven't officially closed. Yes.
Laura Inserto, District 1. I'm a resident of Pine Creek Avenue. And I actually read both resumes, and I think they're both highly qualified individuals. You know, I really can't dispute that one would do a better job than the other. But I will say that as representative of District 1, I talked to the representatives on the RTM, and they all pretty much are in favor of Jay. So I have to say, if those are folks that feel that they can work well with Jay, I'd like to put a recommendation that you consider voting in Jay.
Thank you. Any other members of the public? I come back to the body. We haven't officially closed nominations, so I am going to close nominations now. But we can still discuss. Back to Representative DiMartino. That's fine. We'll take a need a second on that. Second to close the question, Representative Fellner. We're going to have a 2/3 vote on closing the question and moving to a vote. All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Say aye. Aye. All those opposed, raise your hand. Representative Becker, Representative Schwartz, abstentions. So now we're going to vote, and we're going to do a voice vote. I think just simply call out the name as we go through the roll call list. And it would be best to say Herron and Lip, obviously.
David Becker. Michael Hurley. Gaylord Meyer. Eric Sundman. Pete Ambrose. Amy Jennings. John Matola. Jeff Steele.
Lip.
Keith Varian. Ed Bateson. Tom Conley. Hank Ferentz. Dave McKenzie. Mary McCullough. Heather Dean. Joe DiMartino. Amy Mezoff. Joe Palmer. Matt Ambrose. Josh Garskoff. Ann Stamler. Chris Brogan. Nora Campbell. Julie Gottlieb. Sheila Marmion. Jay Wolk. Jen Hochberg. Kevin Hopkins. Eric Newman. Mark Patton. Hal Schwartz. Kathy Braun. Dana Carey. Alan Marks. Tom McCarthy. Jeff Stopa. Bill D'Amica. Joe Fellner. Ellen Jacob. Nick Maraboli. Carol Pontrelli. Chuck Abercrombie. Lee Hannum. Ken Lee. Bruce Ryan. Carol Way. Mm-hmm. 46. Four left, 20 Herron, 2 abstentions.
The vote is 24 for Mr. Lip, 20 Ms. Herron, and 2 abstentions. So we have a new RTM member, Jay Lip. If you want to come up to the front here, if Jay is here. I'm going to have the town clerk swear you in right out here. Betsy, you're going to do that here or out there or out there? Right here. Right. You want to let's do it right here. Congratulations. You can actually take a seat at a table now. The next item is number 4, to receive a report from the first selectman or his designee, which will be the town attorney, on leases of town properties. And I think everyone has a handout at their desk. If you do not raise your hand, we'll get you one. But there was not one in the packet, but there should be one at your desk.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the designee. I'm not going to take a lot of your time up. The town code requires that the RTM receive a report on the short-term leases. I've passed out a list of about 10 short-term leases From what I understand, all the leases with the exception of one, well, they're all current in this fiscal year. One lessee had a little problem, and we're having that lessee catch up. They're paying in addition. If any of you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Representative Bateson, no, you're going to have to come up here.
If I can't.
Did you fix it? Oh, the batteries?
It should work, yeah. Try it.
Turned it on? It is on? Ed Bateson, District 3. Thank you. Mr. Moderator, this is basically for you. Traditionally, we've gotten the lease report in our packet. I haven't had time to look at it. Usually what I like to do is an exercise, go through what we received last year, look at the difference. I don't have any questions for Mr. Lester tonight. What I'd ask is that we could reserve the right to question next month.
Just for the record, Mr. Bateson, from what I understand, the only difference in these leases from last year is that some of them, the rents have gone up slightly. Otherwise, it's all the same.
It's fine. I'd like to believe you. I just want to check.
No problem.
So if we have anything, I don't want to go through the dog and pony of reopening something next month, just to let you know that I would like to reserve that right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who has any questions right now? Representative Becker.
How about now? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. David Becker, District 1. This, I believe, technically falls under the long-term, although it came up under last year's report, the Fairfield Theater Company. If you don't have the information now, you want to come back next month with that as well. But I think it would be helpful, seeing as it pertains to leases, and this is kind of the only time it comes up. There have been a number of problems with them with keeping current and with their revenue share agreement. So I would like to get an update on that. Okay. That came up last year with some problems.
I did get a report. This may not answer your question, but they pay per ticket, and so far this fiscal year they've paid $20,474. The report that I got does not indicate that they're in arrears or anything, but I don't know, so I can check on that for you if you like.
Could you bring a little bit
Sure.
more next time when you come? Yeah, obviously we're asking.
Or I'll just send you an email with it if you want.
Either way would be helpful.
Okay. No
Thank
problem.
you.
Any other questions right now?
Thank you all.
But I agree with Representative Bateson. We are going to I'm going to put this back on the agenda next month, because I think we need some time to at least process it. Even if it's changed in a minuscule fashion, I think we just need to digest it briefly, or however long someone wants to. So I think we should put it on next month's agenda and address if anyone has any questions, they can ask them there. But we should have received this earlier, just in case. Maybe it wouldn't have changed anything, but still should have. So we're going to move on, which is item number 5, to hear a report from the Blight Officer concerning condemnation and blight. However, this item has been withdrawn and will be presented at next month's meeting as well. Next item is number 6, to consider and act upon the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 17th, 2012. Are there any proposed amendments or revisions to the minutes from the body? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes? Representative McCullough, a second, Representative Hochberg. And do we have any comment from the body? We're now going to vote on approving the minutes from the December 17th meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion to approve the minutes carries. Next is the consent calendar. This month, only one item is on consent, and that is item number 7, which is to hear, consider, and act upon the following reappointment to the Greater Bridgeport Transit Authority as recommended by the Board of Selectmen. Is it Seraphine? This is where the numbers come into play here. So this is actually item number 7. So everything from the second number 3 on, add 1. Plus 1. Seraphim D. Kautis, Republican, 2979 Burr Street, term November 2012 to 2016. This item was referred to all standing committees. Does any member wish to divide the consent calendar? All those in favor of approving the consent calendar say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Consent calendar passes. Congratulations to Mr. Kautas. Is he here? Kudis. I'm not good with names today. I'm sorry. Is Mr. Kudis here tonight? Okay. Well, congratulations to him. He did attend both committee meetings, so he was not required to attend tonight. Next item is number 8. To hear, consider, and act upon the following following appointments to the Historic District Commission as recommended by the Board of Selectmen. Thomas A. Daly, Democrat, 10 Southport Woods Drive, term November 2012 to 2017, and Adam J. Cliver, Republican, 280 Hillside Road, term November 2009 to 2014, to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Henry Bach. May I have a motion to approve? I'm not going to get anything right tonight. Representative Mottola, a second. Representative Marks. I will now go over committee votes. At the LNA, there were 7 members present. Representative Brogan, Varian, and Braun were absent. The vote was unanimous, all 7 in favor. At Finance, all 10 members were present. I believe Representative Ambrose had to leave before voting. Therefore, the vote was 8 in favor, 0 opposed, and 1 abstention. Representative Dean, is that correct? Public Works and Planning, 8 members were present except for Representatives Stopa and Hannum. The vote was unanimous, all 8 in favor. Public Health and Safety, 10 members were present with the exception of Representative Ambrose, and I can't read my writing. Not a good night for names. And for Education and Recreation, vote was all 8 in favor. In Education and Recreation, 9 were present except for Representative Mirabili, and all 9 in favor. So we're now going to go to discussion among the body on these 2 members. Is there any discussion? Any discussion among any comment among the public? Okay, we're going to go ahead and vote on item number 8 on Mr. Daly and Mr. Cliver. We're going to do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Is Mr. Daly and Mr. Cliver here tonight? Okay. Again, they also, I believe, attended both committee meetings, were not required to, but congratulations to both of them. Next item is number 9, to hear, consider, and act upon the following appointment of an alternate to the Historic District Commission as recommended by the Board of Selectmen. Margaret Browning Kufferman, unaffiliated, 877 Westport Turnpike, term November 2011 to 2016, to replace Adam Cliver, who moved to full member. May I have a motion to approve? Representative Dean, second. Representative Ambrose. I'm now go over committee votes. At LNA, Ms. Kufferman was not present, and so no vote was taken. Finance, all 9 members abstained for the same reason. Public Works and Planning, no vote was taken. Public Health and Safety was all 8 in favor. Education and Recreation, all 8 in favor. And I think Ms. Kufferman is here. She just wasn't able to attend the first committee meeting, which was Tuesday, but she is here. And if you just want to come up for a moment, if anybody has any questions, Representative Ambrose.
Peter Ambrose, District 2. Good evening. You were unable to attend our meeting on Tuesday night, and I know you're a residential designer, and you've been a full member for 3 years, and now you're an alternate member. How has your background as a residential designer assisted you in your sitting on the commission?
Do I need the mic?
Well, it might help.
Hi. Well, I have a great love of old houses. I have an architectural degree, obviously. I have studied old houses for a long time. I am familiar with the styles, and that has helped me to make proper decisions with regards to the commission. I think that's pretty much it.
Does anybody have any other questions? Thank you very much. Is any other questions for Mrs. Kufferman? Okay. Thank you very much for doing it. Okay. Is there any other discussion on this item? Members from the public, any comment? Okay. We are now going to vote on item number 9. I'm going to do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations, Ms. Kufferman. Thank you for coming tonight, too. Next item is number 10, to hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Finance. Resolved that the bond appropriation entitled, "A Resolution Appropriating $4,195,013 for the costs associated with the remediation of Osborne Hill Elementary School relating to the discovery of PCBs contamination at the school and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, consisting of 3 pages, a copy of which is attached here to be and hereby is approved." May I have a motion to approve this? Is that Representative McCullough? Second, Representative Dean. Now I'll go over committee votes. At LNA, all 7 members present abstained, pending word from bond counsel, which I think we've received, but at that time, all 7 members abstained. Finance, all 9 members present approved. Public Works and Planning, 6 members were voted in favor, with 2 abstentions, Representatives Mezoff and Conley. Public Health and Safety, the vote was unanimous, all 8 in favor, and in Education and Recreation, 8 in favor and 1 abstention, Representative McCullough. We'll now have discussion among the body on this item. Representative Bateson.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Ed Bateson, District 3. I'd like to propose an amendment that came out of discussions at LNA. The amendment is as follows. After the words "discovery of PCBs contamination at the school," insert a comma. Then the words "and a walkway enclosure," close comma. Comma. That's it for the amendment. The purpose of this, there was a discussion at LNA, and Representative Stamler, where are you? This came out of an issue that came up at LNA that Representative Stamler brought up, and I personally agreed with, that the way the bond appropriation, the bond resolution is written, it implies that everything under this is related to PCB contamination. In here we have the walkway enclosure, which is not. So I thought it was, Ann had brought up the fact that it didn't seem right. I agreed. It's something that we had forwarded to the moderator to follow up, and it's included for everyone's information. That's included in the LNA minutes. And actually, we did get a response from Bob Mayer, fiscal officer, and
Not the batteries.
and bond counsel today, and they have no problem with the amendment. The amendment would also change the title of the bond resolution, as those two are related. So that is the amendment.
So Representative Bateson, can you just repeat one more time the language that you're proposing for the amendment?
Yeah, okay, starting within the resolution, the words "discovery of PCBs contamination at the school," comma, "and a walkway enclosure," comma.
Hold on. Where are we? Result of the discovery of PCBs.
Contamination at the school, comma, "and a walkway enclosure," comma. That's the amendment.
And the walkway.
A walkway enclosure.
A walkway enclosure. Comma. And for it, and then continue on, and for administration.
Yeah, nothing else changes within the
I
resolution.
want to make sure where we're inserting it. And then are you doing anything with the title of the bond? Or?
No, because I think the actual bond resolution lifts the verbiage, what we adopt.
It explains, okay.
So I don't think we have to propose a resolution to change that, because I think the title of that changes automatically.
Is there a second to that amended language? Representative Stamler. So now the discussion on the floor is only in regards to that inserted language. Is there any comment or discussion or questions on that inserted language from the body? Any comments from the public? Okay, so we're going to vote on the amended language, so it will read again that part of the sentence in the first paragraph. And other costs incurred as a result of the discovery of PCBs, comma, contamination at the school, comma, and a walkway enclosure, comma, and for administration, legal, and financing costs, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so all those in favor of that amended language, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Representative Garskoff. So the motion to amend passes. We now have a new resolution. That now is back on the floor for discussion and debate. Any members present wish to speak? Representative Schwartz. I'd say use this one.
No. Hal Schwartz, District 7. I guess the question I have would probably be, I guess, to Mr. Cullen, since he's here, he wasn't here on Wednesday night. The enclosed walkway covering, when we put the annex in, what is it, 2.5 or 3 years ago, we decided not to put in any connection to the building to make it contiguous because of the core renovations. What I want to know is, we have a $70,000 in here. How is this going to affect that which we looked at when we originally did it compared to what we're going to do now? And how do we guarantee that what we put up won't trigger core renovations, which are going to cost us additional funds?
Here with us tonight is Bill Silver of Silver Petroselli, and he probably would best be able to answer that question.
Bill Silver with Silver Petroselli Architects and Engineers. We've done a brief code study of the building, and we do not expect it to have any code impact. It is a glass enclosed but virtually open to the exterior of the building. We may require it to have a fire separation between the glass enclosure and the existing old corridor, but that is the most that we anticipate right now at this time. Certainly as we begin as the next architects begin the design process, they will be meeting early with building and fire marshals to actually galvanize that decision. So right now, at this time, you have our best code opinion, but truly those that decide will be building and fire in formal meetings at the beginning of the process.
Representative Schwartz, you're good? Representative Garskoff?
Thank you. Josh Garskoff, District 5. If you could briefly, one of you, explain why there is no code issue, theoretically, not the details, but just because we were told we needed to do an annex to avoid a bunch of code changes. I'm just wondering, is it because this would not be a major renovation now? We're just enclosing a walkway so it's looked at in a different way? Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, I think it's just looked at a different way. When we did the annex building, the discussions we had were with the fire marshal about the canopy touching the existing school, having it be enclosed or having it be the same building materials and a lot of things along those lines, and possibly updating the school building to meet the new codes and standards. They were more concerned with Sherman because Sherman's canopy runs very closely along the gymnasium. Whereas Osborne's, it's a little more separated. But those were some of the discussions we had with the fire marshal and building inspector at the time.
Paula? You good? Representative Stanley?
Representative Stamler, District 5, through you, Mr. Moderator, to either Mr. Cullen or Mr. Silver. Two questions. First, perhaps more than two. If this is a glass enclosure, it will help to protect from weather, which is part of the rationale behind installing it. Will it protect people walking inside from somebody outside who might have a weapon? Will the glass be bulletproof?
The estimate that we provided as part of this resolution that you have is truly for conventional insulated glazing. ballistic grade glazing, and especially the frames that go with those ballistic grade glazings are much more expensive. They're probably in the magnitude of 10 to 15 times more expensive, and that was not the goal of this initial study. And actually, this study was actually conducted pre-Sandy Hook, and so it was not actually on the radar at that time. So it is just conventional insulated glazing and aluminum frames.
So if the word security is used about this, and it does not refer to personal safety, but rather to the inclement weather potential? Okay. In the sense of inclement weather.
Right. It will not provide ballistic security, but it will provide physical security in that doors and glazing will separate them from anybody on the other side of the glazing. It's hard to imagine who would be on the school property without being known by the camera and security systems that are around the schools, but there is literally that physical separation, and the doors are intended to be locked, yes.
Oh, sorry. Another question is, with deference to the experience of Mr. Silver and his team in exploring the potential for impact of code issues, we have had some significant surprises. One of them is this whole project, where we were quite sure that a window replacement had certain parameters, and then we found that the parameters have been multiplied by about 500%. If this, I'm not very good at this. If this should, if there should be increased costs that are envisioned, what will happen? Increased costs. If there are code issues that do develop, and it looks like this is going to cost more than $70,000.
Right. Hi, everybody. Once this is a fixed sum of money, that's all the money the building committee has to work with. If this part of the project gets to be too expensive or trigger something, then it just doesn't happen. So that would be off the table. If this thing's designed and there's no way around it, and it's going to be $1 million, $2 million, then it wouldn't happen. And if it were going to happen, it'd have to come back for approval. So if it's anything substantial, then it just probably won't happen as part of the project.
Just one final comment. I completely sympathize with the preference for having an enclosed passageway. I myself would not want to walk in this weather from the main building to an annex. My only recommendation for the future is that something like this be thought through perhaps, and the impact of including it in a project where it does not seem altogether integral to the project. Also, other issues, for example, if there's going to be an enclosure, perhaps some more thought should be given to other kinds of security. I'm sure these things are under discussion for all our schools. So that's just a recommendation.
Any other members? Representative Dean?
I'll do my best. Representative Dean, District 4. I had a question regarding ventilation in this passageway. Will there be ventilation if it's glass enclosure? I could get pretty hot in there.
Yes, we will design ventilation, either passive ventilation at the roof line.
Testing.
I talk loud anyway. Mark Patton, District 7. To Mr.
There is a savings. Contracts will all be on site. So there is a savings by doing it all at once.
Ballpark, is this $1,000
Um,
savings, a $20,000 savings?
No, it's really the setup fees.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably only a $500 savings to do it.
It's small.
It is. Obviously, the benefit you have is the security of the children.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Too many microphones here. It's unbelievable. Maybe we'll get this fixed next time. Okay, any other members? Any members of the public have any comments? Okay, now we're going to vote. Thank you, guys. We're now going to vote on item number 10. We're going to do a voice vote. Item number 10. +1. It's the theme tonight. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The item passes unanimously. All right. Next item is number 11. 10 plus 1. Try to hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Finance. Resolve that the bond appropriation entitled A Resolution Appropriating $5,155,700 for the cost of certain projects to restore facilities damaged by Hurricane Sandy and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, consisting of 3 pages, a copy of which is attached hereto, be and hereby is approved. May I have a motion to approve this item? Representative Mottola, a second. Representative Dean. Committee votes. L&A, 6 members approved and 1 abstention, which was Representative DiMartino. Finance, approved unanimously by all members. Public Works and Planning, vote was approved unanimously by all members. Public Health and Safety, vote was 6 in favor with 2 abstentions. Representatives Hurley and Meyer. Education and Recreation, vote was 6 in favor, 2 abstentions. Representatives McCullough and Gottlieb. We'll now have discussion among the body. No discussion among the body. Representative Bates.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Ed Bates in District 3. I had 2 concerns that I had expressed in subcommittee. One of them was the dredging of South Pine Creek Channel. I had some concerns about the town, how they could demonstrate the public benefit of that. I did get some follow-up. Representative Sundman from that district followed up and pointed out that there is, in fact, public access that I did not know about. And so that would lead me to believe that there is public benefit to that. So thank you, Mr. Sundman. So that addressed my concern there. There was another one that I had concerning the acceptance of federal funds for beach replenishment. And I would like to express some concern over that to the administration. I had asked it that night at subcommittee, would that change the accessibility to our beaches to non-residents? And at the time, last week in the subcommittee, that could not be answered. And I don't want to speak for Mr. Tetro, but I don't think we have an answer this evening, do we? Okay, so I would just like to express the concern, my concern, that going forward to the town attorney, to whoever is going to be reviewing the FEMA documents, there are a couple of beaches that Parks and Recs right now, if you're a town resident, you're entitled to go there, pay your, what are we at now, 15, 20 bucks? I don't even know. But I want to keep it that way. If we accept federal money and it's going to change that, I would not support accepting that federal money. So I would like you to, make sure we know the strings attached to that money before we accept it. Thank you.
Any other members? Do you want to address that, or?
Mr. Bateson, through you, Mr. Moderator, just to answer your question, Mr. Bateson, I think that's a real concern. I think this body should have that information. If this goes through tonight, or those two items are continued through tonight, then I think that we need to get back to you with that information and make sure that we have those answers before we go forward with anything. If that information is anything different than what we understand, we would put a hold on those projects until we clarified it.
Okay. Thank you. My intention tonight was not to hold this up because I believe you need this document to proceed, right? But I'm pretty sure that from this conversation you understand what I'm looking for, and maybe others are.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Nope. Very real question. We'll get you the answers.
Thank you. Any other members? Representative Mirabili?
Yes, Nick Mirabili, District 9. First Selectman, I appreciate you clarifying that. I understand your statement there, and I just wanted to reiterate that I think it's a big concern as well. So just for the record, I do know I've heard from the constituents that the beaches are very, very crowded. Jennings and Penfield are very crowded. We do have beautiful beaches, and because of that, we do have a lot of folks willing to pay the per diem to go to our beaches. And I just think that we got to keep it to we do want to save some of the beaches for the taxpayers. I think the taxpayers deserve it. And if we have reserved beaches like Sasko and South Pine Creek, I'd like to make sure that we keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Dean.
Representative Dean, District 4. I have a concern about Penfield Pavilion. I think it's a beautiful structure, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm proud of how busy it is and how well it's being utilized. I'm concerned about the safety of its rebuild. I know that the cost is minimal by comparison to what we paid for the 3 builds. So I am concerned about that, and I want to make sure that our Director of Public Works is going to take this very seriously, and I'm sure that he will. And I just feel compelled to make that statement that I want to make sure that this building is rebuilt properly, that the supports are built properly, and that it's safe, and that we can use it for many, many, many years, decades, and so on and so forth. I want to go on the record for that. The other issue I have, I have a couple of questions regarding Southport Harbor and the dredging. I understand that it's going to be tested, that the dredging is going to be overseen by Connecticut Department, DEEP, and by the Corps of Engineers. My question is, the minerals will be tested for contamination, and presuming or assuming that they're not contaminated, that those minerals will be put into used to rebuild the Jennings Beach and the Sasko Beach. What if they are contaminated? What happens then? Where will they go? So the question, Mr. Moderator, through you to the Department of Public Works, I guess, Director. Yep,
Southport Harbor is one of the projects that it has been filling up. It was last dredged, I believe, about 5 years ago. So it has been filling up with sediment incrementally. Storm Sandy put several years' worth in one fell swoop. So Jeff Stedman is working, or has been working, on the permit to excavate the bottom of the channel even before Storm Sandy occurred, because it's a long process. He is our expert obtaining the permit. He has that information. He's been working along with the Harbor Commission. Mary Van Contra is also here from the Harbor Commission. Possibly she could have more specifics on the actual details of the contaminants there, but from what Jeff Stedman has told me, that the contamination issue should not be a problem there. And I don't know if Mary wants to add some stuff to that.
Heather, do you want her? Actually, I do have another question about it. Okay. The other question I have, with regards to its proximity to Exide, how much of the contaminants from Exide is in Southport Harbor, and does that, I'm sorry, I didn't, and will that impact having FEMA pay for this remediation?
Yeah, I've been led to believe that there is not a contamination issue with the soil in Southport Harbor, and that the Exide material is confined to the northern part of the Mill River.
So I'm not sure if I got the answer what I was looking for, which is if the soil is contaminated, what soil will you use, or what the sediment will you use to help rebuild the beaches if you're counting on that from the dredging for Jennings and Sasko?
The replenishment of the beaches is fully funded. I believe we have $700,000. I believe the total amount for all our beaches. So that's fully funding for new material. So there is some, if we are able to use some of the material, and we believe we are, there'll be some coordination of the projects that will be able to save some money in the overall project budgets.
I would like to know if there's any contamination for sure from Exide in the harbor. I'm sorry? Can I do that? Okay. Mr. Moderator, through you to whoever might have that answer.
Mary Von Conta.
Thank you.
Did I get that one?
Can you hear this? Okay. All right. When we use the word dredge, we think of a barge and a big scoop that digs up the bottom of the harbor. And in this case, we are excavating from land a sandbar that has been brought in from offshore and from the beaches surrounding it, and it is sand, pure, clean sand. The DEEP has been jumping up and down about contaminated sediments. They have no concern whatsoever about this sand that has encroached into Southport Harbor. And we are not digging up the bottom of the channel. We are digging up the sand from onshore. You'd have a big, long scooping thing that goes out and picks it up and moves it. It is definitely going to be clean. The lead and there are a few spots of lead and chromium right up next to the tide melt. Otherwise, there's no other contamination of that sort in the harbor. Does that help?
That does. Thank you.
Any other members? Representative Garskoff?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Through you to Mr. Michelangelo, if possible. Question about Penfield Pavilion and the height. What code? Is there a current? Has the codes changed since it was built already a couple years ago?
No, the flood zone. The new flood zones for all of Fairfield will be effective in May of 2013, and specifically they rise on certain areas. In the area of Penfield, they specifically have a V zone, which accounts for the wave velocity, which makes it at a different elevation. So that's what we'll have to, build to the new code that's going to be effective, the new FEMA floodplain elevation V zone that's going to be effective May of 2013.
Okay, great. That answered my question. So we are building to that standard.
Correct.
Is there another one in the works after that, or is that as far as we know at this point?
That's as far as.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Any members of the public wish to make a comment? You're going to actually have to come over here.
My name is Ian Bass, Lally Boulevard. First of all, I'd like to apologize for not being able to make the Board of Selectmen and Finance meetings. However, I did make the flood and erosion meeting and had a little bit to say about the Penfield Pavilion, and I believe I have them reconsidering some of their thoughts, and I hope to accomplish the same thing tonight. Just to start out with a few facts, on the sheet itself that was published for tonight's meeting, it says here the town may be eligible for a 75% reimbursement of the costs. I'd just like to say that I've been diligently battling FEMA since the flood because the damage to my house exceeded 50%. And best I can do is, so far, is pennies on the dollar. So whoever in the town is responsible for saying that they can get 75% reimbursement, I hope they'll meet me after the meeting because I'd like to hire them to help me with my house. I think that's phenomenal if they can do it, but I have to say from my conversations with FEMA so far, it makes me wonder. It also says here on number 4 that on a scale of 10, the reliability of the estimate is a 5. I'm a business person. I always like to have things that are stacked somewhat to my favor, or in this case to the town's favor. I don't think a reliability factor of 5 quite gets me there, but that's really up to you. Just to give you a very brief historical perspective, the Penfield Pavilion started out as a project that was going to cost approximately $3.5 million, and it very quickly rose to a $5 million budget. And now we're talking about adding another $1 million, so that brings it up to $6 million. I live down at the beach, and I'd say virtually every week during the construction project I was down there and saw what they were doing. I'm not a construction expert, but I also had the ability and took advantage of it to sit in on several of the meetings of the Penfield Building Committee. And I can tell you from seeing the drawings and being in on those conversations, the Penfield Building Committee did a spectacular job of working with engineers and architects to redesign that building so that it would be quote-unquote storm-proof and functional. It wasn't something that was thrown up overnight. There was quite a bit of discussion and quite a bit of innovative design, and any of you who took the liberty of going down there during the project undoubtedly saw a very extensive and fortress-like footing and subsystem that was laid in place in the sand before the building went up. Then along came Hurricane Irene and flooded the area. A number of residents got up to complain that part of the problem that the area was flooded was because we had this new pavilion. So we spent several $100,000 more and built and reinforced this fortress-like building with a bulkhead. If you saw that new bulkhead that went up, if you saw as it was going up, before they cut it down to size, a lot of people in the neighborhood were joking that it was now going to be called Fort Penfield. So we went through Irene, and now comes to Hurricane Sandy, and this building that was designed to withstand the pressures of a storm. And let's keep in mind that Superstorm Sandy did not hit us with the brunt of a hurricane like many of the hurricanes we've seen in the past. Remember the old commercial, "You can't fool Mother Nature"? So I guess I have to wonder, why? Why are we throwing another $1 million? When does it stop? We started at 3.5, it went to 5, another $1 million now is 6. Do we stop at 7? Do we stop at 8? Do we stop at 10? When do we come to realize that maybe this building is just too big for the beach or too close to the water? I mean, if you look at the construction of it, I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. But the entire east wing, which is approximately 40% of the building, is devoted to lockers. There are approximately 180 lockers, storage lockers, in a town of 60,000 residents. So I have to question whether or not that entire wing needs to be there, or whether that building could be made smaller and shaped differently so that it could better withstand waves that are inevitably going to hit it. I personally have never been a big believer in global warming, but I think the last couple of years and the last couple of storms have made me feel otherwise. I'm a business person and a financial professional. I hate to come to a meeting or stand in front of anybody of elected officials or unelected officials and complain about something without providing at least a suggestion or a solution. So maybe, for consideration, make the building smaller. We have a town of 60,000 people. Let's give back some beach rather than build more building. And last but not least, rather than putting another $1 million into that building, maybe we could find a way to put $500,000 into that building and set up another $500,000 for grants for residents in the area who have lost their homes or have to rebuild their home or knock it down due to current FEMA code. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Okay, we're coming back to the body. Any other members of the body wish to make a comment, discuss? Okay, we're going to vote now on item number 11. We're going to do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Representative McCullough, Representative Braun, Representative Ambrose, Matt, and it passes. So, we are moving along to item number 12, which is to hear, consider, and act upon amendments to the tax relief for the elderly and disabled homeowners ordinance, section 95-7 to section 95-15.4 of chapter 95, article 3 of the Code of the Town of Fairfield, sponsored by the Senior Tax Relief Ordinance Committee. A copy of the proposed ordinance is attached. May I have a motion to approve? Representative Dean, a second. Representative Marmion. Committee votes, well, it was kind of scattershot here. LNA had 6 members who approved, 1 abstention. Representative DiMartino. Finance approved unanimously. Public Works and Planning vote was unanimous, all 8 in favor. Public Health and Safety, no action was taken. Education and Recreation, the item was not voted on. We're now going to have discussion among the body on the ordinance. Is there any discussion? Comments? Hearing none. Representative McCarthy, a little delayed hand raise there. I sense some hesitance.
Sorry to stand up here once again and talk about senior tax relief. That's fine. Just want to remind everybody 2 things. We did hit a speed bump relative to one of the elements of the relief, specifically the deferral, but we'll be back on that. At this point in time, what's before you is the enhanced credit option. And really what it does is it puts the size of the credit back in perspective relative to perhaps it was 5 years ago. What's been happening is the credit's been flat. The amount of money, funds that we forgive seniors has remained the same over the past 5 to 6 years. All the while, tax increases have more or less eclipsed the benefit of that credit to our seniors. So what we're doing is putting it back the way it was and allowing to the credit to be as rich as perhaps it was in relative terms back about 5 years ago, and let it to be self-adjusting going forward. The other element too, and again it's essentially a restructure. We've increased the eligibility on the basis of the income level, and we've reduced it from a single tier to a 1-tier credit system, and all of which were in response to things we'd heard from the seniors, interviewing them over a course of a year. We feel it's a measured approach. We feel it's an approach that's appropriate, and it keeps seniors in town. So again, I urge you all to get behind this, as I certainly will. Thank you much.
Any other members? Representative Patton.
Mark Patton, District 7. I'll reiterate everything that Thomas said and that we've all said for the last several months. I want to just take a moment of personal privilege to thank all the committee members, including my partner in crime, Tom McCarthy, our esteemed chair, Sheila Marmion, Bill D'Amica, Eric Newman, Carol Way, Carol Richmond, who contributed so much even though she is no longer with us. Am I forgetting anybody? I said Eric. Sorry. Anyways, again, this has been a tremendous learning experience for me and for all those on the committee, and a tremendous amount of work. We hope you appreciate all of it, and again, fully support it, and we will be back with that amendment in a couple of months. Thanks. And actually, our selectman is reminding us, several people have attended our committees and been in a measurable amount of help. Don Ross, who I'm sorry, an unofficial member of our committee who has been invaluable as far as a resource in town. Cinda, our tax collector, as well as several members of the public who provide us with a wealth of information. Thanks.
Thank you for that. I wish I could give you an Oscar after that speech. That was nice. I really feel like I should have a trophy. But thank you. No, thank you to the whole committee. It is true. You guys worked real hard, and you deserve all the credit you're getting and that you'll continue to get. So great job on that, and congratulations. We're now going to go to item number 13, which is to consider and act upon any other matters presented to said meeting. We didn't vote. Wow. Anyways, okay. So, we're going to go to the public. You know what? It's holding this microphone, which is, disrupted my flow here. Are there any members, that's right, any members of the public who wish to address the ordinance? And I apologize for that.
Hi, my name's Deborah Coleman. I am at 26 Cranston Street. I am also a person with a disability and attended many of the meetings that this subcommittee held, and I would like to urge you to support their work. They have considered the matter of tax relief for seniors and for persons with disabilities quite thoroughly. They have been quite sorry, trying to think of the word. They have been very, responsible in terms of the fiscal realities of this these proposed changes, and I believe that they've taken quite a middle road in terms of what could be done in an ideal world versus what can be done in our real world. So I am here just to speak in support of this and ask all of you to vote in favor of these changes to the code. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public? We're going to come back to the body. Any other members of the body? Okay, now we are going to vote. On item number 12, we're going to do a voice vote. All those in favor of this ordinance say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Representative Schwartz. The motion to approve passes. And again, congratulations to the committee. Well done. Next item is number 13, to consider and act upon any other matters presented to said meeting and which may be properly acted upon under the rules of representative town meeting. The next meeting will be held on February 25th. Note that committee meetings will be held on February 19 and 20th. That's a Tuesday and Wednesday at McKinley. Okay? May I have a motion? Oh, by the way, everyone drive safely because it is apparently very icy and slippery outside, and I hope everyone makes it home safely. So be careful walking to your car, everything. May I have a motion to adjourn? Representative Brogan, Representative Bates in a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Representative Sundman. Thank you.